Hi, I'm Jane, the Director of Game Research and Development for the Institute for the Future, and I'm here with a Superstruct How to Play update. It's October 26, 2019, and here are the latest gameplay statistics. We've initiated nearly 6,000 super-empowered, hopeful individuals into the Superstruct community. We've created over 2,000 survival profiles. We've told each other more than 650 stories about the future. We've started more than 400 discussions. And most importantly, we've invented nearly 500 superstructures. On November 17th, the Global Extinction Awareness System will take everything that we've created, all of our stories, our ideas, our comments, and they'll use that data to run next year's future forecasting simulations. In the meantime, the GIA's supercomputer has been doing some real-time calculations. And the good news is, we've already added 6 years to our survival horizon. That's 6,000 points worth of extreme scale collaboration. But it's not enough. Here's my hope for the next 3 weeks of the Superstruct experiment. I'd like to see us earn another 14,000 points. That would mean another 14 years for our survival horizon. And we can do that in lots of different ways, right? We could get 140 Sehis maxing out their 100 points that they can earn through survivability badges. Or we could get 7,000 new Sehis to add their survival profile to the system. So we can say to the whole world that in just 6 weeks, we added an entire generation to our survival horizon. And if we can create a safe space for that next generation, then we bought ourselves a whole new chance to beat the super threat. So your super threat guides are standing by, ready to calculate your survivability points for every mobability moment, every cooperation radar success story, every emergent site breakthrough. So be sure to nominate yourself or nominate your fellow Sehis with the Nominate for a Badge button that's all over the site. Of course, as you know, superstructing is the best way to earn badges and increase your survivability score. So here are some superstructing tips straight from the senior participation architects at the GIA's Collaboratory. The best superstructures are about who you are, what you know, and who you know, and how you can bring it all together to face down the super threats. A superstructure isn't just an idea for how to fix something. It's a plan that answers the question, how can I uniquely contribute to dealing with this super threat? These super threats are big enough that literally any kind of group can do something to help. We just have to figure out what those unique contributions are and how they can fit into a bigger structure. So when it's time to invent a superstructure or to contribute to someone else's superstructure, always start on your own survival page. Who have you declared yourself to be, and how can that specific person uniquely help with this super threat? Superstructures are bigger, more complex, and much, much weirder than any of the traditional organizations that we used to use to try and solve global problems. Any good superstructure will have lots of moving parts, and it will involve lots of different groups. But how do you know which groups will help the most? How do you know who you should be engaging in your superstructure? Well, GIA's recommends that you actually test out any and every group possible before you make up your mind about who would be the most help. One of the most fun things that you can do is pick a Sehi at random, or pick a superstructure at random, and then read their survival profile or read their mission statement and try and figure out how they can help you with your favorite superstructure. Constraints make us super creative. What can you come up with? Send your target allies or your target superstructures a private message with your idea about how they could help. Ask them to join your superstructure so that they can tell you whether your idea is crazy or whether it really might work. We have lots of superstructures, but we need to spend more time actually superstructing them. So here's a fun, quick way to build up your favorite superstructures. First, pick a favorite superstructure. Then ask everyone you know and trust, including people who aren't Sahis yet, to spend no more than 10 minutes contributing to that superstructure. All they have to do is answer the question, how could I help this organization? You can ask them on your blog, or you can ask them on Twitter, or ask them on email, or SMS, or at the end of lunch, or at the start of your meeting. Whatever you have to do to reach out to people, just ask them for 10 minutes worth of help on this very specific superstructure. The main thing is, let them know there's something concrete they can do right now that takes less than 10 minutes that can actually help save the world. In effect, what we're doing is called a brain blast. We're focusing our cognitive resources on a very specific target for a micro period of time. It's simply a matter of answering the following questions. Who are you? What community are you bringing to the superstructure? What do you think they can do to help? And what do you need from other members of the superstructure to really activate and engage your community? For example, I recently brain blasted a quarantine superstructure with this information. I'm James. I participate really actively in an online social network for dogs. And I know that since dogs aren't carriers of REDS, well, I could help organize a social relief effort of dogs to go into quarantine facilities. So to engage this community, what I'm going to need is some really persuasive media, like some videos and outreach to convince dog owners that this is a really important thing to do, that it would really help people who are quarantined to feel more socially engaged and not quite so alone. And I think I also need a really strong and convincing statement from a public health official who can guarantee the owners of the dogs that their dogs won't bring the disease home, to really confirm that dogs aren't carriers. So here are 6 superstructures that I'm personally interested in brain blasting. What are yours? Thank you, Sahis, for everything you've done already to help face down the superthreats. And remember, if there's one thing we're learning from Superstruct, it's that while no one person can save the world, any one of us can help set a self-saving world in motion. Thank you for your contributions to Superstruct so far, and here's hoping that we can increase our survival horizon for an entire generation within the next 3 weeks.